Hello, bonjour and buongiorno, and welcome to Monaco, the tiny Mediterranean microstate famous for its glitzy casino, its glamorous Formula One Grand Prix, and the galactic black hole that it calls financial regulations.
And of course, we're not here to see any of that.
No, we are here to climb the highest mountain in Monaco. Wait, who are you?
Hi, I'm Matt Gray, and you may remember me from such YouTube videos as Matt Gray is trying to fly a satellite.
Oh, yes. So Matt's here. Your challenge is to climb the highest mountain without climbing it.
Okay, cool.
I will now explain that in voiceover.
Yes, today Matt and I are both trying to climb the highest point in Monaco, the mighty 162-metre summit of the Chemin des Rêveurs, which turns out to be about here because the rest of the mountain is in France. But one thing you might not know about Monaco is that many of the private buildings here have elevators that are public, and you can use them to get around. So while I'm climbing up the traditional way, using paths and staircases, Matt is going to try and beat me by doing absolutely no climbing at all and simply walking between elevators, or as we call them in Britain, lifts, or as they call them here, ascenseur. This genuinely could be the most exciting race Monaco has seen for years.
Which means I need to go that way.
And I need to go that way. It's back on 1:30 actually. Let's go.
See you at the top.
Oh yeah. As the wonderful voiceover Tim probably explained, we're both going on foot, but he is doing it normally, whereas I'm trying to find a series of lifts and maybe escalators that should take me up there with considerably less effort, because that looks like quite the hill. I'm not going up the whole thing because the top half of that is France.
Now, if I know anything about Monaco, it's that it's very important to be first into turn one. And here it is, Sainte-Devote, one of the most famous first corners on the planet. Except that instead of turning right and speeding straight up the hill, we are going to turn left and speed up that hill.
The advantage of this for me is that it is humid here, and the idea of walking up a hill in this does not seem fun. The disadvantage for me here is that all I've got to know where these lifts are is a very crunchy PDF to look at on my phone. But the first one should be in this direction. That looks like a lift to me. First lift. Oh, what a view!
Okay, here we go. Start of the ascent. It is a very gentle slope so far, but it will get a lot steeper later on. So I really need to push on here and build a lead, because Matt is going to be catching up when we get to the steeper bits.
I figure there's going to be points between lifts and other help that I've got to go up the slight hill. I'm not going to climb anything particularly steep, because I think the route I'm going is effectively the accessible route for wheelchairs and stuff. But if I don't find another lift up here, then I'm going to get my map out.
Now, I think this is one of the lifts Matt might be using. So it's possible we might bump into each other along here.
What I could have done was any research, and what I chose to do was figure it out as I go along. Like, this should in theory be easier than walking up, so I figured it would be a reasonable handicap for my help that I'm getting with the lift. Yeah, if I go that way I'm walking up a hill, if I walk that way I'm going down a hill, and I'm not allowed to go uphill, so...
I feel like there was a more direct route I could have taken. it is mistakes like that that could let Matt right back into this extremely serious race.
I wonder how Tim's getting on. I'm just thinking, like, if he has to walk up these streets, so far they're quite direct, but it's going to get to a point where he's going to have to start wiggling back and forth. So there might be a point in between where we intersect, we bump into each other, unless he's cheated and he's going to get on a little train. Yay! I did that. Okay, I think my next destination is inside that complex somewhere. Lift. Ascenseur public. Jardin exotique. An exotic garden. Where am I going?
Now waiting at this crossing, and I'm half expecting Matt to come out of that lift any second now.
Okay. Oh, we've got a second lift immediately.
5 seconds before we can cross the road. This is where we can go straight up the stairs, whereas Matt will have to wait for a lift. In fact, he's going to have to find a lift and then wait for a lift.
Okay, where is the next one? Let's consult the map. If I go that way, I can go up this one, and then that one, then that one, and then that one, all the way up to the top, I think. Sign this way saying Jardin exotique, so maybe this is the way I need to go. Ow!
This should bring us out on the Boulevard de Belgique, and then it's straight up the Chemin des Revoirs. No, des Revoirs. Wherever that is.
Oh, I've seen a lift sign. This is spooky. I am warm enough as it is, just with this little walking. Never mind what Tim's doing. This is a slight slope, but I'd still think it's just within the bounds of wheelchair usable, so I'm going to use that as my not climbing metric. Ooh, ascenseur public.
You join me on a staircase where I am beginning to regret doing this in the middle of summer. I'm going to need a pit stop soon.
Okay, double lift done. I'm going to stop to have a quick look at the view, I'll be honest. Yeah, that's kind of pretty, isn't it? Okay, we're having a race. Carry on.
Okay, there is a bench coming in this lap.
Away the next lift. Oh, there we go. There's one here. Was that even on the map? I like how this is equally the sweatiest and the most sedentary race I've ever been a part of. I have a feeling that despite my electronic means of assistance getting up this hill, I think I might lose, just because I've spent so long looking at directions or looking for the right lift. Does that thing get the bus? Whereas Tim can just power up the hill. When I think of Monte Carlo, I think of luxury yachts, casinos, champagne, Formula One, and I've come here for none of that. I've come here for infrastructure, which is exactly my kind of holiday. Lift!
All right, quick refueling stop Should be enough to last me to the end of the race, just about. Question is, where exactly is the end of the race? This wouldn't happen to Max Verstappen.
We're on lift 8, I think. I'm losing track. And I go along a bit, and then there's a final lift. And I think the finish line is just behind one of these buildings.
Oh, wait. Is it hiding behind these benches? Ah. Right. The final... Well, not the final straight. The final bit.
I wonder if this building is the finish line. Ooh. I think this is lift number 8. If I'm correct, this lift opens out onto the finish line.
This is supposed to be a travel channel. It'll be embarrassing if I lose this because I couldn't find my way.
Oh, maybe not. Or maybe there's another lift. We're here. The final lift. With Sybil. I'm racing my friend. He's walking up and I'm taking the lift.
Oh, okay.
Where is he? Wait, I haven't. Oh, you're right there.
So happy you made it.
You are so wet.
That's the sweatiest hug you've had for a while.
Yes.
You were in the lift with someone.
Yeah, and he said, "Oh, are you vlogging?"
Yeah.
And I went, "Yeah," and I said, "I'm racing you to the top," and he's like, "He's walking." And he went, "Oh, he's gonna win."
Oh, right.
He'll already be there.
Yeah? I've not been here for that long.
No?
I had a couple of pit stops on the way up. But yeah, I've been here 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay, so it's not that much, and I spent a reasonable amount of time going, "Oh God, where am I? Where do I need to go?" So
did I.
yeah. Okay, fine.
Anyway, this is the top of Monaco.
What a lovely view.
And if you'd like to race up the highest mountain in Monaco, the country is half an hour from the nearest international airport in Nice on the main railway line along the coast, and it should only take you another half hour to reach the summit, if you know where you're going. Plus, for possibly the first time in any of my mountain climbing videos, the entire ascent is wheelchair accessible. Not saying I recommend going the whole way, but the point is, there is step-free access to pretty much anywhere in the country, so fair play to Monaco for that. Meanwhile, if you'd like to check out Matt's videos, they are a lot of fun, I'll leave a link in the description. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.
And seeing as you managed to fail to climb the one in the Faroe Islands, you need a bit of help and a slightly lesser challenge this time then.
Yes, that is the idea. Achievable goals.